But I just want to say, first and foremost, thanks for being here. Thanks for all of you that are letting us see your faces, because it makes the biggest difference to get to see faces. For those that we can't see, chat it up for us so that we just know that you're there. So I know a lot of people can't. Oh, Kim Dummer, it's so good to see you. Okay, that is super fun. I am thrilled. January was a really wonderful month for us in so many different ways. We had really great celebrations. We had incredible learning. I think that we learned how to have patience. We learned how to show up every day. We learned how to continually encourage and adjust and pivot. But in the end, I don't know, we had some really cool momentum. And so I want to say thank you for always showing up and preparing your heart to serve people. And I don't know if April's going to talk about this tonight or not, but she actually shared with us, I think on Sunday, and I meant to grab my notes. I do my Bible study downstairs in the morning, and I meant to grab it. But she shared with us Life Church, Craig Rochelle. I always say his name wrong. Y'all, it was so good. And I took tons of notes. But I'm just really excited for us to be able to be together tonight. I think we're going to learn a lot from April. I asked her to share, and I know she's going to be vulnerable in sharing because she has a humble heart, but I asked her to share some wisdom, not only in her celebration of what happened in January, but January's celebration didn't just happen. There's a lot of things that happened. There was a lot of planting seeds, a lot of work that was done months prior to seeing this beautiful celebration that we got to see. And I've gotten to just step in and out of her journey and work alongside with her and then cheer her on and then, pray with her. I'd like all that good stuff. And I really would love for us to learn, because I feel like that she set up some habits and some discipline. I think that she saw months ago some things that she needed to do so that she could level up and move to, just that next posture of a leader and growing a team, and how she's prayed for her team and her future business builders. And so I've asked her to kind of share her wisdom with us tonight. And so we're going to kind of work through a couple of different things, but April, I'm going to hand it over to you. I know we've talked through a couple of things, and then if there's any spots that we might all come back in and ask some questions, or I might just ask you to answer a couple of things as well. So I'm going to hand it over, girl. And thank you for saying yes to be with us.
Yes, thank you for asking me to share. It's been a crazy day, so if I'm scattered, just bear with me. Billy had a car wreck. We've been traveling all day, so he's fine.
I just saw that.
The deer is not okay, but he's fine. But so just bear with me. Yeah, he's good. Thank goodness that I am a good time blocker. I had written notes early this morning before I got on a call, so they're here. I've just got to talk through them with you. So I'm grateful for the chance to share. Obviously my journey, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of not one of those that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she's like rising to the top and she's a diamond in a year. And I think that's what's so cool for my story, even though I didn't think that was how it would go. I think that's just part of God's whole grooming in my life. And so my timeline, I want to share it with you, because those that maybe are just starting and maybe not seeing some growth, or, kind of needing some encouragement, that it's okay to go slow too. Just kind of so you know. So I started in January of 2018 for my health. And in the back of my mind, it was, there was a piece, I was still at corporate America. So there was a piece of me that wanted to be at home. Every piece of me wanted to be at home, but there was a piece of me that was looking for something to do at home. But my purpose initially was health. And then hoping that this would be what I could, potentially get to be at home for. March of 2019, we had a big promotion to win an iPad. And I think that's when it kind of kicked in for me. I had started kind of sharing, and I had started, being more intentional, but that I'm not a big, I didn't think I liked prizes, but I love all the prizes. So put the contests out there and I love to win them if I can. I'm going to work my tail off to try. But I think when I shared it with 6 people and won an iPad, I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like that. I care about more than 6 people, and more than 6 people I know have a gut and they all need the product. So like I can do this. So that was March of 2019. I didn't go gold until April of 2020. And so that was a stretch, right? And then I obviously just hit senior gold in January 3 days ago, right? And that was the longest stretch, but I think it's cool to look back now. And even in the midst of it, I think I remember thinking, okay, God, I know you gotta grow me to be a leader. Even though, you have leadership skills and things that you can do that help lead something. I wasn't where I probably needed to be on a personal development piece. Like I, dove into the word and that's foundational for me, but like so many other pieces of just who I needed to be as a leader, they weren't in place yet. And just I guess just the mindset and the diligence to make sure that that's a piece of my day. So 2020 hit and I was focused, even though it was a pandemic, it was going to be what was going to be the focus for me. Um, so I started for the health, quit my job. Oh goodness, I don't even know. 3, 4 years ago, full-time job, went to a part-time job. The summer during the pandemic, um, Billy was like, just come home. Like we don't need that money. Like it wasn't that much to begin with. And it was like, let's just do it. Like we we've seen God work, we've seen God move, and this is the time to do it. So we did it. But doing that, I knew I had to for sure be more purposeful in just kind of my day-to-day things because I had to know how to do the timing, make sure my time was, you know, there for the business, but also there for my family because Landry was the reason that I wanted to be at home. And so it was just finding that balance for sure. 2020 was probably a little harder for the balance for me, um, just because I've never been at home. I've always worked. So trying to figure out all this free time, what do I do? Um, so that's kind of timeline for you to get you where I am now. But I would say probably the four big things that I do every day that are important in my life and in this business would be prayer, um, consistency, my intentional time scheduling, and then just personal development. So for me, obviously prayer is it's foundational for a lot of us I know on this call, but it really Craig Rochelle, you mentioned his sermon, and that sermon I listened to again today. It was just so on point with what Melissa has been, just encouraging us, and that it was it'll change your business, it'll change your day. So I encourage you, if you hadn't listened to it, you need to do it. But he mentioned this summer that God can do more with our surrender than he can our control, and I think that like blew my mind because not that I felt like I was controlling, but like I felt like if I didn't submit every day, like this business and pray over, I mean, I pray over conversations, I pray over what I'm going to post, I pray over who is going to come to my business. These three that I have on my team now, I have prayed for them for a year. Two of them have been on my team. One has been kind of in the background and really hadn't tried the products. One just started probably, I can't remember, Sheila, when you started, but I want to say it was probably 6, 7 months ago. And then, of course, her daughter, Jenny, got on board, and it's been so exciting because that was just a fun mother-daughter team that I wanted. Like, I knew I wanted them, and I knew I wanted them together, but the timing just wasn't right. Right. So I think I had to pray, I had to submit to that. Like, it goes back to my timeline. It wasn't happening as quick as I wanted it to, right? Like I wanted to be all these things already. But God has definitely a different plan. And I think it's it's going to keep me like probably stronger and more stable because I probably couldn't handle the fast growth anyway. Like it's just I'm probably not that person. So it's probably good that my timeline has gone a little slower just because I'm not a fast mover. And so I think that's probably helpful for me, and God probably knew that, right? So prayer, like those are the things. Oh, one of the things I will say, I kind of made a note here, but when we were in Broken Bow this summer, there was a mother-daughter team there, and I took a picture of them and I sent it to Sheila. I don't know if she remembers this, but I said, "You and Jenny should be here with me. And how fun will this be that we get to go to Hawaii someday?" And it's fun now that I get to look at this and see them on a call with me and know that God heard those prayers, and it's just you got to submit to His timing, and that's something I think that He has just continued to show me in this business. Like I think personal development, I put it as my fourth one, but I probably think that I've grown more spiritually with this business, and just personally. Like I was in corporate America for my whole career and probably never felt the depth that I have grown through this business. So I don't think you take it lightly. I think that you have to focus on you and growing you, because you've got a long way to go, right? And this isn't just oh, we want to get to the top and we're done. Like this is Melissa said it before, it's definitely something that you want to lead to your children and their children. So I think it's something that if it's worth the grit and the grind, that it's worth it, right, to care for the people in the long haul. But prayer, obviously, that's huge, and I could probably go on about that forever, but I won't. But pray. Every one of y'all need to be praying for who's coming into your business, because um, Jenny's like going strong, and I gotta keep up with her. She's running wild, and so that's exciting. But you got to pray for them, and I think that it's fun for me to get to see. I love answered prayers, and I love it when I get to pray for people and they come back and they tell me. But I also get like to tell the Lord thank you. So like all week it's been, you heard me, and this is awesome, and this is fun. I loved this already, but it's a lot more fun with people doing it with you. And so I think that's what's exciting, is that the people they're coming. If you pray, they will come. So just keep praying. Okay, so consistency. So this is probably for me. Let's see. I think that's probably this and time. Time blocking are probably my two biggest things that I do daily, and consistency, and I mean it in everything. Like be consistent to drink your water, consistent to take your supplements, because if you're not doing it, how can you teach anybody else to do it? And if you can't speak to really the benefits because you've forgotten to take your supplements and you're not still seeing the things that you first started seeing, I think you've still got to keep your story going. So consistency in your exercise, um, to do your IPA every day. And that's, I will be honest, like it's been fun running this month of January, and I've got every day I've got to still do to my work, and so I think I'm speaking to me still here as well. But and follow up, I think the fortune is in the follow up. Melissa talked about this, and I think my journey a couple times I've seen just the harvest of things happen, and it's all at once, but it didn't happen all at once. And she kind of spoke on that. But for me, the fortune has been in my follow up. I feel like that's probably one of my strengths. I follow up daily with people. I follow up weekly with all of my level ones. So all of them are hearing from me weekly. On some level, it may not all be connected to Plexus. It may just be reaching out to them in their life, how they're doing. And it could be, Plexus related, because they, are working through some products and trying to figure out things. But I'm following up with them. I don't ever want anyone to think that this for me is just a sale, because I want them to know, and I think they do, but I want them to continue to know that I am cheering for their version of them, 3, 6, 9. a month, a year, whatever it is down the road. I'm not just signing them up and we're moving on. That's important to me. That's their hard-earned money that they've given to trust me, the products. And so I definitely am following up with my team, and my customers. Even sometimes I think they get, can fall through the cracks if we aren't following up with our customers. But for me, the fortune has been truly in my follow up. I will go and look through text messages, go all the way back through my messaging on Messenger, and scroll all the way back to the beginning. And if I've missed a conversation or I haven't followed up with someone, that I spend a lot of time just going through those messages so that I didn't do my part. If I sent them a message, they watched the video and they replied and I left them hanging, you know. So I think that for me has been vital in my business is following up. I have notebooks and I can't, well, they're holding up my iPad, but I have notebooks full of people's names, probably for 2 years right now. And I go back through those all the time. And it's fun. Called me, returned a text, and have seen the benefits of the product. So it's so much for following up. I forgot to text you back, or I forgot that you'd message. And, you know, it's truly important to remember that it is the 8th, the ninth, the 10th time you check back in with them that they finally say, I don't know if it's just they're tired of hearing from me. Maybe she'll shut up if I say yes, send me the video. I don't know. But um following up is has been key for my business for sure. Let's see what else. And I think this is the other piece that Melissa wanted me to talk on is there were months, there are days, there are weeks that I have set a goal and I didn't hit the goal. And for sure disappointing, for sure, sick because you worked your little tail off. I mean, my 5-year-old in December and I built a little tree with post-it notes because we were gonna go senior gold in December, dadgummit. And we pulled off those little post-it notes every week as my numbers went up until we couldn't pull them off anymore and we didn't hit our goal. And he reminds me, and which is fun because he is definitely a great encourager, but he will definitely hold me to the fire because he told me the other day, he said, "What's your next rank?" I mean, he knows. I mean, he knows Roz. He'll say Roz. If he sees her name, he's like, "Oh, there's Roz. What's she doing?" He knows what my next rank is, y'all. This is just the sweetest. Oh, I don't know. I think it's just affirmation from the Lord that I'm where I'm supposed to be because He is a cheerleader. He's on board. He is a shareholder. But he said, "So what's your next rank?" And I told him Ruby, and he said, "I think you just gotta keep your eye on that diamond." And I'm like, That's that is where we're going, buddy. And we will get there because Mama's not quitting. And as long as Mama doesn't quit, we're making it, and we will get there." And he said, "Okay, so there's the diamond," and we went through all the ranks. He goes, "You're already halfway there. There's 10. You're already halfway there, Mom. You got this." So I think it's been fun, even though we didn't hit that big goal. It was fun to involve him. It was fun for him to see, because I think my why has changed, and I think that's kind of where it goes. Like you may not hit your goals, but they don't change. That just means that you get to move them out. The timing may change, right? But I still want to hit that goal. I still want to hit senior gold. And we didn't make it in December, but we're going to work hard for it in January, and we're going to work hard for it, the next month, whatever that might be. And now our goal will be to include our team and what are their goals and how can we help them reach their goals. And so um, I think you just have to remember that even if you don't hit the goal, that it doesn't mean that it's still not something that's so important and that you won't get there. I think you just have to remember to just, you know what? You just every day's a new day, every day's a gift, and you somebody, it just wasn't the time. And I think that's where it's been for me, is just recognizing that it's just not been the time. God did not have me there for that reason, for a purpose. I couldn't probably be really what I need to be for Sheila and Jenny and Penny and all the rest of my team if I were running and gunning, if and not ready for where he needed me to be in that moment. So I think disappointments, they come and they will continue to come. People will drop off and all those things that will probably disappoint you, and have disappointed me. I think it's just, important to just stay in that surrender, because it's coming. It's just not on our timetable. And I think if he's put that goal in your heart and you are every day surrendering it to him, it's just a matter of time, I think, before he begins to show you maybe what you need to work on so you can get to that next goal. And I think that's really this journey that I've been on since probably April. Was just, okay, you know, where are you lacking, and what is it that you need to focus on? And I think really tying that into personal development has been crucial for me. I mean, I've had Michelle and Melissa pour into my life for 2 years, and it's been awesome. And so I think if you're not, jumping in on team calls, and you're not jumping in on trainings when you can, you're missing out, because they're pouring into your life and they're pouring into you. Even the replays, I know I don't get to get on at the moment that things are happening sometimes, just because of life, but um, the time that they put into to share their heart and share their wisdom, I think is awesome. I think when I started, what was cool was Kylie. Um, she gave me several people's names to watch and follow on YouTube. And in the season that I joined her, it's been a crazy season for her. And so I was grateful that she had given me names of people to check in and check out, because it's my journey. It's no one else's journey. It's my business. It's my responsibility to grow, and it's my responsibility to do better and to be better. And I can't expect anybody else to do that for me. It is something that I have to want. It's like these products. We can't want these people to take these products and bag them, and if they don't do it, they don't do it, right? And we can't hold their hands to it. So I think it's, as a business owner, which we are, I think you and I have responsibilities to invest in ourselves and to grow yourself. And so I think if you're not diving into YouTube, it's like that's where I get all my training. I mean, I will be on a treadmill and there is a training going. I will be in the car line and there's something that I'm listening to. I have to be very intentional with my time, because my why is gone from 8 to 2:45. And when he gets home, it's mommy and Landry and family and focus until he goes to sleep. And I think that's what's been cool in this whole season is time. And that's kind of the next thing for me, is really intentional time. So probably about a year and a half ago, I don't know, I feel like COVID has got my brain all messed up. I don't know what the time is, but I started going to our hotel. It's a local hotel that I'm a member of their gym. And I spent Sunday afternoons in true intentional planning for my week. And I feel like um, that is when things kind of shifted for me. I became purposeful in using my time wisely. Billy was gracious and is so precious, to just be a supporter as well. And on Sunday afternoons, that's kind of, I know we're supposed to rest on Sunday for God's word, but I do rest and I take a Sabbath more on Saturday. So I feel like on Sunday afternoons, I will head out to the hotel. I will get a workout in, and then I will sit there and I will research for my post for the week, kind of what I want to talk about. What have I, been needing to share that maybe I haven't? I find the testimonies, and the phone is my best friend. The note section on my phone, I plan my week on it, so that when the time comes for me to make my post, I'm not searching and I'm not digging for, oh, what should I be doing? What should I post today? Because I am not a scroller on social media. I never was. I get on, I do my thing, and I get off. I don't scroll. And so I miss some things, but I'm not a big scroller. So I want to be intentional with my time. And so Sunday afternoons, I'm planning and I'm scripting what the week will be for me. I'm not rigid in the fact that something comes up and I don't change it up. And maybe I've found something else that I might think would be more beneficial in that moment, in that day. So it can be fluid, but like it helps me to just be more, okay, focus. And I'm not wasting time because I think wasting time, I don't have it right now to waste. So, um, and that on Sundays is when I would make my list. So I had a list every week. I would make a list of who I was going to check, check in with, who I needed to reach out to. And I honestly, I just went through my Facebook friends and I just made a list of them. I went from the oldest to the newest and I would sort it that way. And if I hadn't reached out to them about Plexus or just in relationship building, I think when I first started, I probably did it a little backwards and probably didn't go more focused on building that relationship before I messaged about Plexus. And so I think that's the one probably thing that I have changed the most is making sure that that relationship is what's foundational. That's the reason they're on my friends list because at some point we matter to each other in person and not just online. And so I have been more intentional to just build that relationship. But that list helped me to do that. I would make the list. Excuse me. I would make the list so that I knew again when I sit down to do my IPA, I had a list of people. I wasn't scrolling through Facebook to try to find who I might need to talk to or who I haven't reached out to. So I did a lot of that on Sunday afternoons. Reagan, sideline sister, has been foundational in just building my business together with her because she meets up with me there now too when she can, and we will work on maybe what we found to share. Maybe we've worked on an event that we want to host together because we're thinking, hey, maybe we need to do something. So it's been vital to have that accountability partner, because it's she's running at the same pace that I'm running, and I think that's what's been fun is that we've locked arms and we both have similar goals. And I would just encourage you, if you don't have a sideline sister or a sideline brother, whoever it is, find your accountability partner that you can check in with. Nicole and I have done that as well. Like we'll check in, how many, what's your goal and what are you reaching for this month or what have you. But oftentimes we'll just say, let's do 20 reach outs today. Let's knock it out. And we challenge each other. So I think you can get stuck in, oh, I don't know what to do today. So you just don't do it. And if you have somebody that you are leaning into and she's helping you, she's motivating you, that's made the difference for me too. Weekly meetups with Michelle have been foundational in just supporting each other and knowing that we have each other to lean on and has questions. Let's see. I think I feel like I've rambled, Melissa, but I think I hit on all the things. I didn't hit on your success sprints, so I don't know if you want to hit on that or if you want me to.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then your personal development, you just talked about that you really put that into the nooks and crannies of what you're doing. And tell me on your personal development side, do you feel like that you put into action some of the things that you learn in that?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. One of the, oh goodness, I'm trying to think who it was recently, talked about 3 days and the 3-day boxes. And I feel like after I'm walking and I'm listening, it's like as soon as I get back to the house, I can't wait to get back to the house and go, okay, Reagan, we need a 3-day event. Like, let's just do something with the 3-day boxes. Like, what can we do?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times we freeze and we think we have to lean on the broader team. And I think sometimes we forget that we can do it and we can do it even, together and figure out a way to do something different. Um, because sometimes the timing is off for maybe when, our team as a broader team is doing something that we don't want to stop and wait on that. Like we need to be in action. So I think listening to different people and when they tell me on their little video what they've done, it's like, oh, well, I can totally do that. Why am I not doing that? And I for sure put it right into action if I can.
Yeah. Okay. So I love what she said. A couple of things is that she puts things into action and she doesn't wait for the larger team or for somebody else to do an event. She just says, let's do it. And I think that that's a really big deal whenever you have goals, whenever you have a vision, and whenever you're going after something. I know I've shared it a couple of times in different lives that you're responsible for you. And that's one thing that April was saying earlier was, this is on me. It's my business. I'm the one that needs to learn the different things. It's not somebody else's opportunity for my business to be successful. And I think that mindset, whenever it comes to finding a power partner, making some decisions, going and saying, we can do this event. If they can do the event, we can do that. If she did it well, we can do it well. So I love that. Another thing that I wanted you to touch base on, just for everyone, just in case they don't know what it means, but that you said that Landon was a shareholder. Can you kind of share talk about what a shareholder is and how you do that in your home for your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, he's the reason that I'm doing the business and wanting to be at home. And so if there is a moment that mommy is not going to be around for something, I mean, and right now there's no sporting events that I'm missing, thank the Lord, because there are not any. But, I want him to be a part of the journey. And he is just as excited when mommy hits a goal or we get new people on our team. So he has buy-in so that he knows that when there is an event that mommy might miss of his, that I've been there and he's been a part of it and he understands that it's for the greater good. And so he definitely understands sometimes more than I do about the next rank up.
Yeah.
But yes,
yeah.
he's definitely part of my my decisions for sure.
Yeah. So when we talk about those shareholders, they're our family, our spouses, our children. We bring them into the conversation. It's kind of a family business. I've always said that, my husband, when I was full-time ministry, he was my ministry partner. In this business, you guys know, he prays with me. He knows your names. He's up here. I think I was with Chris Rude yesterday. I don't see her anymore. Where is she? She must have jumped off. But he was in here with me prior to us getting together and kind of waved at her as he left. And he comes up here and we have conversations about this business. So that's a shareholder. When my children were home, and just like what April was saying, if there were nights that I couldn't be downstairs or nights that Dad was making dinner and cleaning up and all those different things, they knew the greater vision of why I was doing what I was doing. I was a full-time mama all the way from the time my babies were born. I was thinking about it last night. I was with my grandson last night. He's 10 months old. And Craig said, okay, so when Caroline was 10 months old, you were 4 months pregnant with Petey. And I said, exactly. And I'm like, and this child who's crawling all over me because he's trying to learn how to walk and all that good stuff and trying to be independent and thinking about that. But for both of my pregnancies, I didn't even tell my work until I was 6 months along, because in that time, and Kim probably can understand this a little bit, and probably April, but I was seen as weak. If you're pregnant, I could have lost my job. I wouldn't have gotten a promotion. I got a promotion right after I went back to work from Petey being born. But I worked full time. I didn't get to see those babies grow up. And so when I started this business, and I was always looking like, how can I bring in income stream that changes so that I can be flexible so that I can somehow see my kids more than I do, because I traveled 50% of the time. But my kids were shareholders. They understood why I was doing what I was doing, even though I was putting in more time because I was still working full time and doing this business. They knew the future. And how crazy is it that the Lord was so gracious and so good that when my son was a junior in high school, I became a stay-at-home mama, junior in high school. So for me, even though he didn't even need me, he had his own car, he had his own job, he could drive. The joy of being home when he got home and making him a lean shake and sitting there and talking to him for 5 minutes while he drank it before he went and did something else was the greatest joy and blessing. And they were part of that because they knew what that was going to do for my heart. As much as I don't want to have mommy guilt, I still sometimes go, oh, and I have to pull out of it because it's my choice. Nobody's putting that guilt on me, right? But so that's that shareholder is sharing with all of those people that you love, that they're seeing you have to use time right now and sacrifice possibly time with them. You bring them into the conversation so that they can see that you're doing it so that futuristically you can have more time, right? And so those are those shareholders. And they could be best friends, spouses, children, mamas. My mama, I would say, is a shareholder. That come along and pray with you. So it's a really, really big piece of this business. It's a joy of this business. And just like with Landon, like he knows people's names, like he knows what's going on. And I think that those things are super, super cool. Okay, the other thing that how many of you guys have accountability partners, like power partners? How many of y'all raise your hands if you, okay, it's such a big piece. And I would always say, the one thing that I have loved about Reagan and April and just the partnership that they have is they kind of live in a no excuse zone. They might, I mean, I'm not on every call and I'm not at the hotel with them, but I know their character. And there might be some bad days where they're just like, okay, I'm kind of in a little frumpy spot right here because things aren't moving the way that I kind of envisioned. But I also know that they pray for each other and they get out of the slump and say, let's go contact 20 people. And so I really want to encourage you, to have a power partner. I've had one for 7 years and they change in seasons, and you need somebody, there's different times that you need different forms of who that person is. But I want you to get someone that does not allow you to make excuses, that speaks to you in love to say, step it up, because the buck stops with you. And so if you really want what you say you want, you're going to have to adjust your mind and your attitude and your heart in certain areas. And I want both of y'all to kind of come together to say, let's be courageous together. Let's take risks together. Let's try something. And if it fails, that's okay because we learned from it. And let's really iron sharpen iron. So it's some of the sweetest time as long as you and your partner come from a place of strong character and integrity to lift up, to bust through challenges and obstacles. To definitely, my power partners have also always been confidants. And, so that I can speak something, the other day I said something to Michelle and I said, I'm going to say something and you're just going to have to love me through it. Like, just don't judge me. But I had to say something and get it off so that I could move forward, right? And so those are the joys of your accountability partners. So make sure that you're doing that. And then lastly, I really did want to talk through how you approach your success sprints. That's really big area for all of us right now. I think it scared some of us that we went from, I'm so used to doing monthly goals, and now the company is actually rewarding me on bigger, longer amounts for goals. And I think that a few people have gotten a little bit confused. Hopefully you've seen your tracker in your back office, which has been super cool. And I don't know about y'all, but ever since my tracker went in, my dashboard is really crazy. Like I don't have 4 squares across. Okay, Stephanie, I've got this afternoon, I had one at the top and one over here. And then now I have 2 here and 2 here. So I think that they're trying to figure all that out. It'll get figured out. But I would love to hear how you have approached the success sprints and mapped out in regards of kind of what's your quarterly goal, but then how you backtracked that.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, January was crazy, and I need to go over it with my team. I don't even know that they know all of the things yet, but I really kind of just looked at it and as mapping, and I just really mapped myself and kind of mapped my team and then just plugged them in where I think how I understand what their goals are, what they want it to be, and have kind of plugged them in with that in mind, knowing that they want to hit gold by March or senior silver by, tomorrow or whatever next week. And so I just kind of, I mapped really is kind of how I did it. And then just kind of plugged it in. I'm hoping that's the best way to do it. I think it is. And then just really just kind of what I wanted in customers and what I wanted, in retention. Like I made a list of all the January ads from our team so that once February hits, that we know that they've at least got the retention on those people. And just Michelle was saying, she kind of put it in a calendar, and I'm like, okay, I need to do that. Like I wrote down, so I had them all ready. So when February hits, I'll know, okay, who's retained and who we have not. But that's kind of really how I've looked at it, is really just kind of mapping them, and then as a team, kind of putting those on that little, I don't know, you put it out there on somewhere, this little thing, which was awesome. The personal goals and the team goals. So,
yeah. There's two different types of trackers, so you can just do the one that like we're all different in how we learn and how we want to keep information. Guys, the big thing that I would tell you is I mapped out mine for January, and it's fascinating because I hit my numbers that I projected. I was off by 5 points, but the way that I projected is not what ended up happening, right? So I think that I want you to be intentional in setting goals, and intentional, it's really what you have been doing. I will tell you the area that you will lose or win in is retention. And that has been the weakest link of our organization and our team is retention. And so if you want to really do well, I would say you need to time block some time and really say, I'm going to really figure out my system for retaining people. Not like, okay, I'm gonna get on that, and tomorrow I'm gonna do some follow-ups because I know I'm supposed to do this piece, because that's where you're gonna get your most points. Okay. What I want you to do is say, I am growing a business and I want this business to be successful because I have some pretty big dreams and plans, and I have a pretty big why. And that means that I have to become an expert. I have to become an expert in personal development and who I am as a leader. I have to become excellent at building relationships and loving people well. And I have to become an expert at retaining people once they have trusted me. It's an integrity thing, guys. I will always go back to that. If you have basically pitched, if you will, you have pitched an idea and a vision to people. And if you do not fulfill your obligation of them being successful, that's an integrity issue. And so we always talk about integrity. Integrity starts with you first, and your yes being yes and your no being no. And so I think it's super important for you to really kind of say, I don't know this system well. I don't do it well. I have a fear issue. I'm not courageous. I'm not confident. And I've got to figure out, what is my 3, 7, 14, 21, 28? If you don't know what that is, somebody tag, you need to ask for it, raise your hand and we'll tag you. What is my system for follow-up? You need to time block, figure it out, take the time, because it's the most critical thing that you can do in this business. So it's not something that you blow off till tomorrow or next week or next month or put it on the back burner. If you want to be successful in this business, you time block, you figure it out, you put it into place, and then you start working your plan. Amen? So that would be an area that I would say, but this is what I want you to hear, is that you will map it out and you will figure out what you want to do personally. and you will get excellent at onboarding and retaining people. And you will do great with your success sprints. I think for all of us, whenever you go, my January didn't go the way I wanted, that means that my whole quarter is going to die. That is scarcity, number one. But number two, you know, we used to live in the world of consistency club, and you lost your spot if you weren't consistent every, you know, single month of hitting, then you lost everything. This is a joy that you've got 3 months to hit your goals. Now, you're going to hit higher goals if you retain over all 3 months. But if you don't hit your recruiting goals, or you didn't rank in the areas that you thought you were going to rank of your people on your teams, they've literally blessed you by giving you more time. So use your time wisely, right? Does that make sense? So the 2 things that you can do well is onboard your people. Onboard your people well, and then customer care is everything. 2 tools that I still don't think that we're using well that we need to really promote, and I actually, corporate has said, Melissa, I will do a training for your team, and I know that Michelle has done a training, is the Engage app. So your Plexus, Perks, Report, and your Engage app are your 2 most critical tools for making your success sprints work well. Your Perks is going to tell you when somebody turns off their subscription, and it allows you to care for them and remind them of what it means, what it looks like, and what success looks like. Success, it means that they need to be consistent. And then your Engage app is the most beautiful thing when you're onboarding your new ambassadors, to share with them that they have 3 free samples to send out to people immediately just because they became a member. They see how easy it is. And that might mean, guess what? You might need to time block and say, man, on Friday at 10 o'clock, I need to spend a couple of hours to train myself on the Engage app, because I don't know it, but I'm missing probably one of the most successful tools that I have been given in my hand for free because I'm an ambassador, to be able to build my business with success, right? So 2 areas, Perks Report and in your Engage app. 2 areas of focus, onboarding well and retention, customer care, right? So those are really big areas, and I would really just challenge you, if you're gonna do this business, then learn the business and learn what makes you successful and time block it. And I'm speaking to the choir because I'm a person that wants to run and not slow down. And you have to slow down and learn to speed up and be successful. So there might be a time that you're like, I've got to spend this hour on this day and this 30 minutes on this day. I'm going to go learn these areas, and I'm going to implement them, and I'm going to put them into place. So this is my challenge for you. And it's not anything about what April said about listening to podcasts, because I do the same thing. But what if, instead of sitting down and listening to a podcast, which is awesome, you sat down and you actually trained yourself on 2 areas that would make you highly successful in this business immediately, right? So those are the things I would say is, what are my priorities? Am I using my time wisely to be able to be as successful as I can be in this business? April, thank you so much for sharing with us. It was so good. I'm so thankful Billy is good. Congratulations again. Does anybody have questions for April and what she shared tonight, or for me in regards to success sprints or anything like that?
Well, I'm just going to have to do my own homework on the success sprints, because I'm kind of out of the loop in January, and so I will do that.
Yeah, so a couple of things. Your ambassador community page, they have, they did some training out there on it. And then in Passionate Pursuit, we have a training that you can do a search to do for success sprints. And then, of course, we have phenomenal tools in back office that explain success sprints and works through it as well. So you've got some really great resources. But yeah, I would just say I'm going to time block a little bit of time and really figure this piece out so that I know it. That's awesome. Anybody else? Okay, guys, I'm so grateful you were on. Kim, Jenny, Sheila, Kylie, Laura, I love seeing your faces. Kim, Marley, Nicole, Michelle, Dawn, Stephanie, y'all are amazing. Thanks for being with us tonight. I hope it was helpful and beneficial, and we will see y'all next Tuesday night. And next Tuesday night, Michelle Harrell and I are partnering, so you know it will be a party. So put it down, 8 o'clock next Tuesday night. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.